that time?
Actually not.
No.
No. I was 12.
Yeah.
You know, kids have other things in their on their minds. They're just glad to get out of the situation. And we had to face so many new elements in a new society, a new language,
Sure.
new patterns of life. That occupies most of your thinking.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I wondered where some of my friends ended up that got out,
Mm-hmm.
and we never did find out. But then you make friends here, and it kind of sinks into the past.
This is a kind of an informal question, but are there chat rooms specifically on the internet for trying to track down? Like, has the internet helped with tracking down people who you knew?
Well, it wouldn't make much sense. I'm 89 years old now.
Right.
These kids, most of them, many of them won't be living anymore. And I probably wouldn't have much in common with them anymore. Just because you're French as a 10 or 12-year-old doesn't mean you share sentiments today. So I haven't pursued it, actually. In fact, I went to Syracuse University, and most of the kids that I went to college with were from New York and from Long Island, you know. But at first, you try to keep in touch. But after so many years, you know, you make associations in your own city and and you get married and you raise a family. And in time, that also, few remain. Few I keep in touch with, largely friends from the fraternity I belonged to at college and so on, but not many.
How did you approach the topic of the Holocaust with your own children and your involvement in it? Were you?
Actually, I kind of waited till they asked. And at first, they didn't want to know much about it.
What did they ask you?
What I did as a kid, you know, and why we left Germany. And they, of course, they learned in their history lesson in school some of that, but then they wanted personal details about our experiences and so on.
Were you forthcoming with those?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's in charge of the email at your house? Is it you or your wife?
My wife, yeah.
She's very quick at it. She does a good job. Do you go on the computer a lot?
I don't, no.
No.
It came too late in my life. I was too involved in other things. At the library, the computers were introduced, but I had a secretary who took care of that, you know. I did the other stuff.
How do you feel about the loss of the Dewey Decimal System?
Oh, it's great that it's lost. You see, a Dewey Decimal System works fine for small libraries, but once you get into a large research library, it breaks down. And so the Library of Congress is much more flexible. And, you know, I mean, it works fine for a school library, but it doesn't work so well.
I just want to have one last question for you. As far as your role as a survivor and your role at the Buffalo Holocaust Resource Center,
Mm-hmm.
what do you see for the future for you? More talks to schools? What are you planning?
Well, as fewer and fewer actual survivors remain, other means have to be found to convey the message. And of course, what you're doing here today is one of the means. But I know that the Holocaust Research Center is involved in planning future approaches. What we have to do is do what works for the youngsters, what they are inclined to accept and to take, to find credible. And that's all the electronic media today. And so ways have to be found to get the message through those media to reach them, because the survivors won't be around.
Well, I hope that you'll be happy with this, but when you're